Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Neo. In this video we are getting started on a new client. We just started with spraying her off with some alcohol. I used to use Swipe by Young Nails, but I just ran out. It just helps to moisten up the skin and further disinfect. You know, we're in the time of everyone being uber clean, so it just doesn't help. It doesn't hurt to, do that as well. I'm pushing her cuticles back to get started with a plastic rubber tipped cuticle pusher. It doesn't scrape the nail plate like a metal one would, but it just helps to push the skin to kind of expose whatever it is I'm trying to remove. Then I like to go in with my skiver bit. This is a diamond skiver bit. Everything will be linked below as to what I use. This is something that I often use in my prepping for everybody. Sometimes I might use a flame bit if like all my skiver bits are, not clean. But I really do enjoy using the skiver bit. It is completely flat to the nail. As you can see, I'm not angling it. We do not want rings of fire in the client's nails. And it's kind of cool because you can kind of get it up under the eponychium area and scrape away any excess. I find it helps to go in the forward and backwards directions if necessary, but for the most part, I'm just focusing on scraping up anything dead off of that nail plate. After that, I'm gonna go in with my fine sanding band, also at a same low speed. I'm using the Coupa Me file. I've been using it now for about 2 months and I really enjoy it. The only thing that I, wish I could improve on it was that it has an LED display or information about the speed and RPM around the dial. It is by feel, it just turns on and has, a dial to, increase up to 35,000 RPM. So at this point, I'm just kind of used to feeling the speed as for what I need, but it would be nice just to have information on like, okay, so I like to use my e-file at this speed, or I like to use it at that speed for this thing, but it doesn't have that. But I really do enjoy using that Me file by Coupa. I'm going in with these fine sanding bands and using extremely light pressure. As you can see, I'm using my pinky as a fulcrum to kind of give myself a brace so that I don't use full pressure on the e-file, and I'm just buffing the surface of the skin and going around the cuticle area to lift up anything that I might have left behind by the skiver bit. You can see me going around the cuticle area, but I'm using an extremely light touch, nothing crazy here. So I am getting her started with some clear Coffin tips that I got from Amazon. These do have a slight curve to them. I enjoy using these when I know I'm going for a shorter look, just because, they're not my favorite, and they help with just giving slight length, but nothing crazy. I am just placing them towards the tip of the nail. These do have a half well. I don't really care about the half well. I just apply the tip as close to the free edge of the natural nail as possible, making sure that it's straight. Everybody has crooked fingers, as you can see, and I say this to all my clients as I'm doing this. Just so you know, this finger is going a little bit this way. I'm gonna put the tip this way so that it comes out straight, and they always kind of appreciate that. Every client that I have has at least one crooked finger, so this is a good tip for me and for you. Just make sure you look at the knuckles and just envision a straight line down the center of the finger versus applying the tip on that fingertip as is, because like this finger, if I applied it straight for that fingertip, it would be going towards the bottom right of the screen. So we don't want wobbly fingers. Also, change the direction of the client's hands. Some people will lift the hand up and turn the palm towards them so that you can see what the nails look like from your direction. When you're staring at the hand in one direction, you may not see everything. So try to get different views of the client's hands just to make sure that you're doing things right before it gets too far. You don't want to be like putting on the top coat and then realize that one finger is crooked or anything like that. So I'm just using my straight edge clipper to kind of nip the sides. We are going for an almond shape on these nails, so I just like to use my straight edge clipper to kind of take away some of that material so that I'm not filing forever. After this, I'm going to go in with an 100 hand file and then just go in and shape those oval almond nails for her. So when it comes to shaping almond nails, I find it helps to do that pre-clipping on the sides like you saw that I did. And I like to go from side to side. I never file one side too long and then do the other, because it's very simple to kind of warp the nail to favor one side than the other. You want your almonds to be completely straight and have that pointy bit right in the center of that nail. So as you can see, I'm using an extremely light touch. You can see my hands are not very close to where the nail is. Using that hand file, I keep my hand towards the back end, and then I go from side to side, around and around, and then that's how I get myself a nice almond shape. Do not go in heavy-handed like you would if you were doing a straight shape, like a coffin or a tapered square or anything like that. That you can, you know, get away with like hacking at the sides, but in terms of having a nice soft rounded almond shape, I would just suggest using a lighter hand and just going from one side to the other and just being very light around that rounded tip area. This client wanted more of a rounded almond. I do have clients who prefer more of a pointy almond, kind of like a almond slash stiletto. I will link a video to that shape. I do have a client who prefers that rather than this rounded almond, but this is you know, like the more typical almond shape. But yeah, just making sure I clean one side and then the other, and just going back and forth and being really light-handed helps me to just maintain a really nice shape without going too far in either direction. Just taking my e-file with the same sanding band and just blending those tips. I just prefer to do this. It just helps to give me a flat, smooth base, and it doesn't really affect me much because I do go in with that base coat of clear acrylic, so that just kind of smooths everything out. We don't have that weird seam, but it is just good to practice as well. If you are someone who doesn't blend, then maybe consider applying a small layer of clear, whether you're using gel, polygel, or acrylic, just so that you have that buffing layer underneath. It helps to protect the nails, and it helps so that when you're removing a set, you don't have like glitter or like super pigmented colors right on that natural nail. After that, it is time to prep. I use the same Mia Secret dehydrator, the Mia Secret primer, and a little bit of the Young Nails Protein Bond. It works for me. Use whatever works for you. And now we're down to the fun stuff. So like I mentioned before, I like to use the Young Nails Core Clear to apply a thin coat of clear acrylic to the natural nail and down the length of the whole nail. I've been doing recently and I've been enjoying that. So I am just using a fairly wet bead and just giving her a nice full thin application of clear acrylic on the entire nail. This helps to, like I mentioned before, protect the nail so when the client comes back for removal, I know exactly when to stop. Once I see that clear layer, I can see the client's nail through that layer, and then I know I don't have to file it anymore. It also helps because clear acrylic has the best adhesion, and if you are someone who doesn't blend your tips, this helps to give you that smooth surface. Also, it helps to protect from staining or damaging the client's nails. You know, like if people apply glitter directly to a nail and then to remove that, unless you're soaking that glitter off, that glitter acrylic, it is going to be hell to kind of file that close to the nail with something like that. So many benefits to using this clear acrylic layer. Just do, you know, whatever you want to do. But I personally enjoy using a clear acrylic layer. And now we've got this gorgeous base on the nails. Nails are looking good. The shape is looking very pretty. We are going in with this uber bright, goldeny, sunshine kind of yellow. This client actually selected this color, and I was so excited. I've never used it. It's from iGel Beauty, and it is called We Belong Together. B with the letters B-E-E. I thought that was really cute. So it's kind of like a bee yellow, and we are going in and doing some ombre, 2-color ombre with the yellow, and then we're going to be doing some 3D flowers. It's just going to be really cute and pretty. The client actually picked this color. She was like, I normally go for pink and whites, nude and whites, but I wanted to try something different. So I was so excited that she wanted to go bright yellow, because this is definitely not a color that I use often. It was actually my first time using it on a client. It's been sitting in my drawer for a long time. So shout out to this client for letting me, you know, try this acrylic. iGel Beauty acrylics are really good and affordable. If you are newer to nails, kind of like I am, my collection is growing at this point, but I always feel like iGel Beauty is one to come back to. You have some stunners in that collection. I know in a previous haul I talked about some diamond glitters that just like blew my mind. Some of my favorite colors are from iGel Beauty, like that winter white color I'm going to use later in this video. It's a fave. But yeah, definitely check out iGel Beauty. They have this perpetual like 60% off sale. At first I was like, wow, this company is giving, but I think it's just like marketing. It must be 6% all the time, because I've never seen them not have that sale, and it's been like over a year at this point. So definitely check out iGel Beauty. Very affordable. They have really good quality products, and it's great for a beginner to just kind of like stock up your collection. I would, you know, if I had to spend 20-30 bucks on all of my acrylics, then I wouldn't have as much as I do, and I'm glad to have had this color because iGel Beauty is so affordable, so that when the client came in, I could service her the way she wanted to be. So back to the set. We are using an iGel Beauty color called Creme Brulee. I've used it on this channel before. It's a really gorgeous color, and it looked really good on her skin tone. Really nice, kind of warm brown beige color, brown girl friendly nude. And we're going to be doing a full nail on this ring finger. Later we're going to add some 3D flowers, and on the middle finger we're going to be doing some cut French with some gold foil. You see the gold foil on the table, so you know it's getting incorporated into the set. But for this finger, it's going to be a solid nude nail. The other fingers with the gold tips are going to be ombre, so I'm going to ombre this Creme Brulee color by Sugar and Cream over those, and then we're going to start off with a base. I'm going to cut some French shapes out on that middle finger, and then use that goldeny color to fill them in. All right, so for this French, it's a little weird because it's on an almond nail. I found myself wishing it was a straight nail because it's way easier. So I'm applying that, I guess, free edge bead like I normally would, and I'm just using my brush to kind of mold where I want the product to go. But because it's a rounded nail, it was just a little bit awkward versus if it was like a straight edge nail. I had to focus on rounding that product around the almond shape, and when I did that, it pushed the product back to where I didn't want it to go. So I just pulled out my extendo tip and just, you know, sliced away at the acrylic. That's one thing that I do. It might be a little bit funny, but it helps me in terms of carving out acrylic. These tips are really, really thick and hard, and as you can see, you get a nice clean cut. So, you know, I've seen people use X-Acto blades or like these cool cutting tools, but you know, for me, I just use my extendo tips. They're handy, they're right there, and they get the job done. So I went in and cut that diagonal French cut. I'm gonna fill in the cuticle bead, and then we are going to apply that gold color to fill it in. It's going to be a full nail of a French cut. Once this nail has cured, I'm going to go in with my medium narrow carbide bit, and I'm just going to debulk a little bit because I am going to clear cap these nails. If I wasn't adding foil to the nail, I wouldn't clear cap because it has enough structure, but I realized that I wanted to add foil and then encapsulate the foil. I rarely like having foil being under gel polish because it's not smooth. So I'm just debulking and also cleaning up that French line. It took no time at all. Then I'm going to be applying gold foil across the diagonal. So in this case, I probably didn't even need to carve it. I could have just applied the acrylic, you know, straight on, because we're basically covering the line with foil anyway. But yeah, I'm applying gold foil to that French cut line, and then I'm going to clear cap all of the nails, and then we'll move on from there. After this, it is time to clear cap. I want to protect these beautiful ombres that we've worked on. Not really focusing the product around the cuticle area. That's not really where I need to add, you know, bulk to the nail for structure. Also, these nails are not particularly long, so we don't want them to be uber bulky. So I'm using a very, very wet bead of acrylic. As you can see, we just want to protect that ombre, not necessarily build up any shape to the nail. I'm going to do that for all 5 nails, and then we will get into the final steps of this set. So I've got my bit back out. This is the medium narrow carbide bit from Pana. It's black. It does come in different colors. You can like choose like silver and gold and black and that like pretty tungsten purple color. But for me, I really love the fact that it's a narrow bit. As you can see, the bit is almost the same width as her nail, and I really love that. When the bit is like super large, I don't know, I just feel like I don't have the same amount of feel as I would if the bit was more narrow. So I really do love these narrower bits. I'm using my e-file at a medium to high speed this time, and as you can see, I like to keep my hand braced right by the sidewalls and underneath the free edge of that nail while using these e-files. Sometimes if your speed is too high, the bit will kind of spin around the client's nail just because it's a little bit out of control. Placing my fingers so close kind of prevents that. Not that I have the speed up too high, but just as a precaution, I'm just used to doing it that way. And for this set, I am just focusing on cleaning up the surface of the nail, making sure that there's no product touching the sidewalls and or cuticle area, and then just making sure that the nails are nice and smooth. So nothing crazy here. After finishing this step, it does get cut off. I don't know why. I looked up while doing this set and noticed that my camera was off, so weird, I don't know. But after this step, I just went in with my 100 hand file and just cleaned up the shapes, filed the side walls and underneath the nail a little bit actually, because sometimes I get acrylic under there as well. Then I had her wash her hands, but even after that, I sprayed her with some alcohol and using my manicure brush to clean up these gorgeous nails. The shape looks great, the colors look beautiful on her skin tone. We're just gonna add a tiny bit of fun stuff and then the set will be done. So I'm getting started with some Glossy Top Coat on 3 of her fingers. So the pinky, the middle finger, and the thumb. Is it the middle finger? I'm not sure. I think it's the middle finger and the thumb are gonna get a beautiful glossy top coat. This is my Beetles glossy top coat. I love Beetles top coats. My one caveat or gripe is that I wish that they came in like larger bottles. They're just so freaking tiny. I feel like I'm buying them constantly, but it's such good quality. Definitely check out Beetles on Amazon. They have really, really great polishes and other things. I'm not sure if they have like a poly gel. I'm not sure. Just check out Beetles on Amazon. They're really, really great. So I'm curing her for a full 30 seconds and then we're going to come back and add a little bit of something extra to a few of the nails. So I wanted to add a little bit of something blingy to a few of the nails. I'm using this Bling Gel method. So I've got the McCart Bling Gel in a squeezy tube. I know that's not what it's called, but that's basically what it is. It's Bling Gel in a squeezy tube. And I think it's so handy that you don't have to use a brush for this. You just kind of squeeze it out and go apply as you need. So I applied the Bling Gel and then I'm going to apply Glossy Top Coat on top of that Bling Gel. I love using this method. I know I've been using the Zule Bling adhesive or like resin glue method for a long time, but this is where I started off when I started doing nails. It just gives you so much time to work. I love that you don't have to worry about things drying in place. One caveat though with using this method is if you add a lot of bling or if you add heavy pieces to the nail, they will move over time. So you just have to work very quickly and very smartly. But the things that I'm adding to the nails today are not heavy, nor are they going to be moving around like that. So you see I've got some fun stuff on the table. I'm going to be adding some braided hoops to the nails. So on this nude nail, we're going to add 3 going zigzag across the nail. I realized halfway through that I needed a really, really tiny one. So I found one in my, my rhinestone stash somewhere. I have one to the right, one in the middle of the left, and one towards the tip of the nail. Then I'm going to add tiny little crystal AB rhinestones inside of those braided ropes. I just thought that was a really pretty touch, and it just helps to cascade down the length of the nail. On her pointer finger, I'm going to add 1 braided rope, a stone inside, and then 1 stone right on front. I think this is like my thing because I love doing this pretty much on everybody. I just think it looks really, really pretty and just adds a tiny bit of something, but it's not too much, just to tie it in. After placing those, I had her cure for 60 seconds and basically the set is done. But to, bring it into spring, I figured I'd do some 3D flowers for her. So I am using the same We Belong Together yellow color, but I'm also using Winter White by iGel Beauty. I'm dipping into the white first and then dipping a tip of that bead into the yellow, and we're getting these beautiful 2-toned petals for the flowers that we're building on this nail. So I will just zoom in for you so you can see this. This brush that I'm using is by Pana. It's a size 4. Kolinsky 3D brush, and I really, really like it. I do have a size 2, but that brush is like incredibly tiny. It's basically like a ballpoint pen. It's just a little too small, and I'm just being cautious to place beads that will fit around the nail, that won't be, up off the edges a little bit too much. One petal that I placed right by her cuticle is a little bit smaller, just so that we don't, have that product touching the skin. But yeah, I just thought that this would be a really cool touch to bring it into spring. Right now we're having a lot of rain in April/May, so I just figured this would be really great. And the color yellow that she chose is just speaking to me in terms of like flowers in spring. So you can watch me figure this out. Just make sure that your beads are really dry when doing 3D flowers. You don't want them to run. You kind of want the acrylic to be setting so that you can kind of mold it with the brush. So don't use a lot of monomer. If you do, tap off your brush after you pick up your bead and then just kind of let it polymerize a tiny bit on your brush before getting started. And you can just go back and forth with your petals and just keep patting them so you get the texture from the brush in your petals. I find that that works until the bead is like completely dry. As you can see, I placed the bead and I left it alone so it can kind of, you know, do its thing, and then I come back to it. And it's a little bit harder, so then I can place the brush inside of the petal so that it gets the texture that it needs, versus placing that bead and working it right away, especially because they're so tiny. You just want to let the beads dry a little bit. Once I'm done with this final flower, this set is finished. This is what the set came out looking like. It was so fun and bright and pretty and just feminine with the flowers. I loved it. Hopefully you do too. You can check out this action shot. Like this video if you like, subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.